All right, we are going to talk about prepositions, and the definition is relatively vague. It's a word that relates one idea to another, which doesn't say a whole lot. You basically are giving more description, normally about the location of something. And so we also talked about how adverbs can answer where and how they show location as well. Prepositions are a little bit different, and you'll learn in the next video as to why they're different. Here are some prepositions. Keep in mind there are over 100 prepositions, so these are just some of them. It would be very smart of you to study this chart because it will be much easier for you to identify other sneaky things like adverbs as soon as you can figure these out. So if I were you, I would definitely study these. There are other prepositions that are called compound prepositions. If you remember, we have compound nouns as well. And much like the compound nouns, it takes a couple of words to represent one location. That's why they're compound prepositions. So some of these examples are like on top of. It's one location. But you have on and you have of. So a compound preposition, it's 3 words, but it represents one place. That's why it's a compound preposition. Also, in front of, that would be a location, but it's multiple words. Some of these, like due to, that does not give a location at all, but is considered a compound preposition. And you're like, well, wait a minute, I thought they were location. However, there are some that don't. How are you going to remember most of your prepositions? I always think of it this way, that it's anything a plane can do with clouds, usually, to remember location. So planes can go above the clouds, or below the clouds, or around the clouds, or behind the clouds, or through the clouds, and all these words, around, above, behind, through, these are all the prepositions. But there are some that don't indicate location, which are a little bit more difficult to remember. I'm asking you to star them in your chart above. So not the compound prepositions, although you can do that one if you'd like as well. But in the really large chart, I would like for you to pause the video, and I would like for you to star the ones that you think are not direction. Okay, let's take a look at the ones that are not direction. First of all, we're going to start with about. About isn't necessarily a direction word. Most of these are. The next column are as well, except up here during is not. It's more of a time word. And except as well, and for as well. So all 3 of these and about. These are the ones that are not direction words. Most of these are. Like is not. And there's a difference because you're not saying I like so-and-so. That would be a verb. But you're saying I like things like, and then you give all your examples. So like is a tricky one. It can be a couple different parts of speech. If you take a look, near is a direction, but of is not. So of should be starred. When you look at the next column, all of these should be starred except for since. Since should be the only one starred, I'm sorry. And then the last column, with is one that is not direction. These within is fine, but without is not a direction. Within is like inside. And if you look at upon, it's kind of like up on something, but they kind of merged it to one word. It's like once upon a time. Upon is the preposition. So you have quite a few that are not directions. We have some that are compound prepositions, a couple of words that mean one location. Also, your compound prepositions will not be on your test, but they are good to know. As I said, anything a plane can do with clouds. Now let's take a look at some examples. The lion paced around his cage. Now you really can identify everything else except for this preposition. So if you know there's a preposition in a sentence, label everything else first, just like adverbs. So the is an article, lion is a noun, paced is an action verb, his is a pronoun, and cage is a noun. Well, around is your preposition and it's a direction word. Let's look at the next one. I ordered a bowl of soup. Of is our preposition here. I is a pronoun, ordered is the action verb, a is an article, bowl is a noun, and soup is a noun. So now that we've eliminated everything, of is the preposition. And this is one that is not direction. So this is something that you need to make sure that you remember that of is a preposition. Let's look at the next one. Yesterday morning, the temperature dropped below 0. Now, morning is a noun. Yesterday is an adjective. In this case, you're describing which morning. The is an article. Temperature is a noun. Dropped is an action verb. 0 is a noun in this case, I would think. Maybe it's an adjective. And below is your preposition. So below it's like under. It's a direction. That's your preposition. Let's look at the next one. My keys are on top of my jacket. Well, my is a pronoun. Keys is a noun. Are is a linking verb. Jacket is a noun. And my is a pronoun. Oh, look, on top of. This is one of those that if we look in our chart, on top of is a compound preposition. So when you circle it, you need to circle it all together because it represents one location. Let's look at the next one. The woman went to the airport by way of train. Okay, there's two prepositions here. We have to and also a compound preposition by way of, and that was also in our chart. Okay, so these are just prepositions. They are location words, and after you practice identifying prepositions, you'll have your next video on how to find your prepositional phrases. And your prepositional phrases will help you determine whether or not some words are prepositions or if they are adverbs. So if you need to, review this again and then do the activities and get on to prepositional phrases.